25 Forgotten Survival Skills Every American Kid Learned Before Age 12. In 1879, a 10-year-old boy named Caleb Turner was left alone for 3 days on his family's homestead in the Montana Territory after his father rode out during a blizzard and never made it back on time. No electricity, no grocery store, no phone. Just a wood stove, a hand pump, and what his mother had drilled into him since he could walk. By the second night, temperatures dropped below zero. Caleb didn't panic. He melted snow for water, rationed dried beans, patched a draft in the cabin wall using mud and cloth, and kept the fire alive using kindling he had split himself months earlier. Today, put the average 10-year-old, or even most adults, in that exact same situation, and the outcome would be very different. No power for 24 hours sends people into panic. No running water for 2 days becomes a crisis. The gap isn't strength, it's knowledge. Number 6 on this list is still taught in U.S. Army survival training manuals today. Number 11 was once a required skill in Boy Scouts of America handbooks until the late 20th century. And number 3 can keep you alive for weeks without modern supplies, yet almost nobody under 40 knows it anymore. This wasn't rare. Before 1950, American kids weren't just kids. They were trained contributors to survival. They could preserve food, build shelter, navigate terrain, and solve problems without tools or instructions. So what happened? Because here's the truth. These skills didn't disappear by accident. As appliances replaced effort, as corporations sold convenience, and as institutions centralized survival into systems you pay for, this knowledge was quietly erased. Not because it stopped working, but because you stopped needing it. Before we get into this, drop your city and country in the comments. I want to see how global this really is. And if you're someone who wants to become less dependent and more capable, hit subscribe. This channel is about rebuilding the kind of knowledge people used to survive anything. Now, let's break this down. Let's count down 25 forgotten survival skills every American kid once mastered before age 12. Before weather apps, before GPS, before bottled water, American kids were trained to read the land the way you read a screen. Not as guesswork, not as folklore, as a living information system. Number 25. Finding water by reading vegetation patterns. Frontier children were taught this early. Green doesn't just mean life, it means moisture. Cottonwood and willow trees don't grow randomly. They cluster where groundwater sits close to the surface. If you saw a sudden shift from dry grass to dense green along a low dip in the land, you weren't looking at scenery, you were looking at a water map. Dig 2 to 3 feet near that transition line, and you'd often hit damp soil or a slow seep. This exact principle is still referenced in U.S. Army Field Survival Guidance. Number 24. Reading animal movement as directional signals. Kids on farms knew that animals move with purpose. Deer trails don't wander. They lead between water, shelter, and food. Follow converging tracks downhill, especially in the early morning or late afternoon, and they often lead to water sources. Birds offer another layer. Flocks flying low and straight near dusk are usually heading toward water. This wasn't instinct. It was pattern recognition repeated until it became automatic. Number 23. Predicting rain by cloud structure, not forecasts. Long before satellites, children could look up and make accurate calls. Tall, towering clouds with flat bases, cumulonimbus, meant incoming storms, often within hours. But the real tell was speed and direction. If high-altitude wispy clouds, cirrus, began thickening and lowering, spreading like a veil across the sky, it signaled a pressure shift and approaching rain within 12 to 24 hours. This wasn't superstition. It's basic atmospheric observation still taught in outdoor education programs. Number 22. Wind direction as a temperature predictor. Frontier kids didn't just feel the wind, they interpreted it. A steady wind, shifting from the south or southwest, often meant warmer, moisture-laden air moving in. A sharp wind from the north or northwest meant a cold front pushing down. You didn't need instruments, you needed awareness. A simple habit, licking a finger and holding it up, told you wind direction instantly based on cooling sensation. Number 21. Reading the ground for recent human or animal activity. Soft soil, bent grass, broken twigs, these were timestamps. A track with sharp edges meant it was fresh. A track softened by wind or dust was older. Kids were trained to notice disturbance patterns, overturned rocks still damp underneath, or crushed grass still springing back. These details told you who or what passed through and how long ago. Number 20. Insect behavior as a storm warning system. Bees staying close to the hive, ants building higher mounds, mosquito activity suddenly dropping. These weren't random changes, they were responses to barometric pressure shifts. Falling pressure often precedes storms, and insects react fast. A sudden silence in insect noise, especially in humid environments, was often a stronger early warning than thunder itself. This is what's been lost. Not toughness, not intelligence. The ability to see information where modern eyes see nothing. Because once you learn to read the land like this, you stop being lost. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think survival is something you buy. A $300 water filter, a $120 fire starter kit, a backpack filled with gear that promises safety the moment something goes wrong. Modern survival has been packaged into products, tools you can order, store, and forget about until the day you think you'll need them. Frontier families didn't have that option because tools fail. Skills don't. A metal water filter ferro rod breaks or gets lost, but kids were taught how to start fire with flint and steel, friction methods, or even by preserving embers overnight in ash. Fire wasn't a tool. It was a process they understood. A GPS dies in under 24 hours without power, but a 12-year-old on the frontier could navigate using the sun's arc, shadow movement, and terrain memory. Direction wasn't something they checked. It was something they knew. And here's the part nobody likes to admit. Most modern survival kits are built on the assumption that your tools will still be there when everything goes wrong. History says otherwise. Floods separate you from your gear. Fires destroy it. Panic makes you forget it. And in the first 10 minutes of a real emergency, you rarely have time to grab everything you planned for. Frontier families trained for that exact reality. They didn't prepare for ideal conditions. They prepared for loss. That's why knowledge was layered, redundant, portable. If one method failed, there were two more behind it. If a tool broke, the skill replaced it instantly. Because knowledge weighs nothing. It doesn't run out of batteries. It doesn't depend on supply chains. It doesn't get confiscated, regulated, or misplaced. It travels with you. There's a reason many of these skills were once taught in places like the Boy Scouts of America, not as hobbies, but as baseline competence. And there's a reason versions of these same principles still show up in U.S. Army survival doctrine today. Because when everything else fails, the only thing left is what you know. And the uncomfortable truth is this. A kid in 1920 with no gear was often more prepared than an adult today with a $1,000 survival kit. Not because they had more, but because they needed less. They didn't call it chemistry, but they were practicing it every single day. Number 17, smoking meat for long-term preservation. Frontier kids learned early that smoke wasn't just flavor, it was protection. Hanging meat above a low, steady fire exposed it to compounds like formaldehyde and phenols that slow bacterial growth. The result? Meat that could last weeks without refrigeration. Today, food science confirms that smoke creates an antimicrobial barrier while reducing moisture, two of the most critical factors in preservation. Number 16. Salt curing to stop decay. Salt was survival currency. Children were taught to rub it deep into meat or fish until it drew out moisture. What they didn't know, but proved in practice, is that salt creates an environment where bacteria cannot survive by dehydrating their cells through osmosis. Modern microbiology backs this completely. No water, no bacterial growth. Number 15. Fermentation for food stability and gut health. Cabbage became sauerkraut. Milk became buttermilk. Vegetables lasted through winter not by chance, but by controlled decay. Kids knew to pack food tightly, exclude air, and let time do the work. What they didn't call it was lactofermentation, a process where beneficial bacteria produce lactic acid, lowering pH and preserving food. Today, researchers confirm it also improves digestion and nutrient absorption. Number 14. Rendering fat for storage and cooking. Nothing was wasted. Animal fat was slowly melted down into lard or tallow and stored in sealed containers. This created a shelf-stable, high-energy food source that could last months. Scientifically, removing water and impurities stabilizes the fat and prevents rancidity. It was calorie storage before anyone used the word calories. Number 13. Herbal antiseptics for wound care. Cuts didn't mean infection, not if you knew what to use. Kids were taught to apply crushed garlic, pine resin, or certain leaves directly to wounds. They didn't know about allicin or natural antimicrobial compounds, but they saw results. Today, studies confirm garlic's antibacterial properties and resin's ability to form protective barriers over wounds. Number 12. Willow bark for pain relief. Long before aspirin, children knew that chewing willow bark could reduce pain and fever. They didn't know it contained salicin, the natural precursor to acetylsalicylic acid, the active ingredient in modern aspirin, but they knew it worked. That knowledge passed from parent to child, generation to generation. Number 11. Vinegar as a cleaning and preservation agent. Vinegar wasn't just for taste. It was used to clean wounds, preserve vegetables, and sanitize surfaces. The acetic acid lowers pH to levels where harmful microbes struggle to survive. What they practiced instinctively is now a foundational principle in modern food safety and sanitation. Number 10. Drying herbs for long-term medicine storage. Kids gathered plants at peak potency, then hung them to dry in shaded, ventilated areas. This preserved their active compounds for months. Today, pharmacology confirms that controlled drying stabilizes many plant-based compounds, making them usable long after harvest. They didn't have labs, but they had results. And now, science is catching up to what they already knew. Here's the second pattern most people never question. Medicine used to grow outside your door. Then it moved behind a counter. In 1910, the Flexner Report reshaped American medicine almost overnight. It standardized training, shut down hundreds of small schools, and pushed healthcare toward laboratory science and pharmaceutical production. At the same time, organizations like the American Medical Association increased lobbying influence, helping define what counted as legitimate medicine. Some of that change saved lives, but some of it erased knowledge. Because for frontier families, medicine wasn't something you bought. It was something you recognized. And most of it was free. Willow bark, natural painkiller. We mentioned this earlier, but here's what matters. Willow bark contains salicin, which the body converts into salicylic acid, the foundation of modern aspirin. Frontier kids didn't need a pharmacy. They needed a tree. Today, pharmacology confirms the same anti-inflammatory and fever-reducing effects. Yarrow, field wound clotting agent. Yarrow leaves were crushed and packed into cuts to stop bleeding. It wasn't superstition. The plant contains compounds that promote clotting and reduce inflammation. Even modern herbal medicine still recognizes yarrow as a hemostatic agent, something that physically helps blood coagulate faster. Garlic, broad-spectrum antibacterial. When infection was the real killer, garlic was a frontline defense. Crushed garlic releases allicin, a compound now proven to have strong antibacterial and antifungal properties. Frontier families used it on wounds and in food, not knowing the chemistry, but understanding the outcome. Pine resin, natural sealant and antiseptic. Sticky sap from pine trees wasn't just for sealing containers. It was applied to wounds as a barrier against dirt and bacteria. Modern analysis shows it contains antimicrobial compounds and forms a protective layer, essentially a natural liquid bandage. And here's the uncomfortable truth. None of these cost anything. No prescription, no brand, no markup, just knowledge. Because once you know what to look for, the forest stops being scenery. It becomes a pharmacy. Now, this doesn't mean modern medicine is the enemy. It means something else. You were never supposed to lose the first layer. Frontier families didn't reject doctors. They just didn't depend on them for everything. Because when help was miles away, delayed or non-existent, the only system that mattered was the one you carried in your head. And that system started with a simple idea. The land provides. If you know how to read it, frontier kids didn't learn these skills. They repeated them until thinking was no longer required. Because in real survival, hesitation is failure. And the only way to remove hesitation is muscle memory. Number 9. Building a lean-to shelter in under 30 minutes. This wasn't a weekend activity. It was a timed expectation. Find a fallen branch, angle it against a tree, layer smaller sticks, then cover with leaves, grass, or bark to trap heat and block wind. Done correctly, it creates a microclimate that can raise your body temperature significantly. Variations of this exact shelter are still taught in U.S. Army survival training with the same benchmark: fast, functional, repeatable. Number 8. Fire starting without matches. Kids practiced until they could do it under pressure. Flint and steel, bow drill, even ember transfer from previous fires. The goal wasn't just ignition, it was reliability. You didn't stop until you could produce flame in less than 5 minutes using available materials. Today, this exact standard appears in advanced wilderness training and military survival programs. Number 7. Maintaining fire through the night. Starting a fire is one skill. Keeping it alive is another. Children were taught to bank coals, covering embers with ash to slow burn rate while preserving heat. In the morning, a single breath could bring it back to life. This eliminated the need to restart from scratch, conserving both energy and resources. Number 6. Navigating by the sun and shadow. No compass, no map. Kids learned to track direction by watching how shadows moved over time. A simple stick in the ground could mark east-west lines within minutes. By midday, the sun's position gave reliable directional orientation. This method is still taught in survival manuals used by the U.S. Army because it works anywhere the sun exists. Number 5. Reading the night sky for direction. Polaris, the North Star, wasn't trivia. It was a fixed point of navigation. Children learned to locate it using the Big Dipper and orient themselves instantly at night. This skill allowed movement without daylight, without tools, and without error. Number 4. Constructing simple tools from raw materials. A sharpened stick becomes a spear. A bent branch becomes a snare. Rope can be twisted from plant fibers. These weren't creative experiments. They were repeatable systems. Kids practiced until they could produce functional tools quickly, using whatever was available. Number 3. Carrying water instinct doesn't disappear when everything else does. Here's the final piece most people never see. These weren't separate skills. They were one system. Number 1. The ability to sustain yourself from nothing. Frontier kids weren't taught fire, shelter, food, and navigation as isolated lessons. They were trained to combine them fluidly, instinctively, without needing instructions. One decision led to the next. Find water, choose campsite, build shelter, start fire, secure food, maintain heat, navigate out if needed. It was one continuous loop, a complete knowledge system. Because in reality, survival isn't a checklist. It's a chain reaction. Frontier could be dropped into unfamiliar land with no tools and, within hours, secure water, build shelter, and start a fire, without instruction, without hesitation. Today, fewer than 1 in 10 adults could do that. Not because they're weaker, not because they're less intelligent, but because they've been trained to rely on systems outside themselves. Food comes from stores. Water comes from taps. Heat comes from switches. Direction comes from screens. And when those systems disappear, so does the knowledge that replaced them. That's the trade. Convenience in exchange for competence. Frontier families made the opposite trade. They accepted difficulty in exchange for independence. Because when everything you need lives outside of you, you are always one failure away from losing it. But when everything you need lives inside your head, you carry survival with you. That's the real skill. Not fire, not shelter, not food. The ability to connect them all without needing anything else. And once you understand that, you realize something uncomfortable. We didn't lose these skills because they stopped working. We lost them because we stopped needing them. And in doing that, we became more advanced, but far more dependent. So here's the question. What would actually change if you learned just one of these skills? Not all 20, just one. Here's the challenge. For the next 30 days, learn how to start and maintain a fire without matches or a lighter. That's it. One skill, one focus. Because fire is the center of everything. Heat, water purification, cooking, protection, signaling. If you can control fire, you're no longer starting from zero. Start simple. Week 1. Learn the theory. Understand tinder, kindling, and fuel. Practice building a proper fire structure, teepee, lean-to, or log cabin. Week 2. Use a ferro rod or flint and steel. Focus on consistency, not once, repeatability. Week 3. Try friction methods like a bow drill. It will frustrate you. That's part of it. Week 4. Practice maintaining a fire. Keep it alive for hours, then overnight. Learn how to bank coals and revive them in the morning. No shortcuts, no skipping. By day 30, your goal is simple. Start a fire in under 5 minutes using only what's around you and keep it alive without restarting. That's the benchmark. And I'll tell you this from experience. The first time you do it successfully, something shifts. It's not just the fire. It's the realization that you can produce something essential from almost nothing. No switch, no device, no dependency. Just knowledge and repetition. That feeling? That's what Frontier kids grew up with. Not confidence from motivation, confidence from proof. So here's what I want you to do next. Go down into the comments and type Day 1. Then come back and update it as you go. Day 7, Day 14, Day 30. Track it publicly, because the fastest way to relearn something forgotten is to commit to it in front of other people doing the same thing. And while you're doing that, remember this. None of these skills disappeared because they stopped working. They disappeared because a world was built where you didn't need them anymore. Until you do. So the real question isn't whether these skills still matter. It's whether you want to be the kind of person who has them before you need them. Because once you start learning even one, you realize how much was taken and how much you can still get back. If you believe that true security doesn't come from what you own, but from what you know, like and share this story. Subscribe now for more stories like this. Also check out the 2 videos showing on the screen right now, specially crafted for you.